Hey guys, thanks for joining today's DIY tutorial for the hand painted wallpaper. We did ours in the laundry room, so let's walk through these steps together. First things first is you want to make sure that you have proper ventilation. If you have a window, open that. If you don't, then make sure that you have a fan. If you want to make sure that your wall is clean, it's probably not too dirty, but you just want to make sure that you have a clean surface to work on so that the paint will adhere. Any soap and water, any type of cleaner you have is fine, so just wash your area where you're going to paint and then make sure that it's dry. The next thing we want to do is just make sure that our belongings are covered so that when we accidentally drop some paint, so make sure your items are covered with the provided drop cloth. So the next thing we want to do is measure. So if you have a measuring tape at home, that is great. But if you don't, no worries. Just fast forward to step B and we'll go from there. Now, if you're using the measuring tape method, the sponge is about 1.2 inches. So we're going to make that round up to about 1.5 inches. And then it's gonna be about 1/2 inch in between. So for example, if we have a 24-inch space that we're wanting to do, you're gonna count for about 2 inches per stamp. And we'll have an illustration pop up on the screen. So I'm gonna show you real quick on the screen. So it would be the first stamp, we would account for about 1/2 inch from the wall, and then 1.5 for the sponge in there. And then past that, we'll have another 1/2 inch, and then that's where we would begin the next stamp. And you have tabs inside of your DIY kit, so make sure to place those accordingly. I like to start at the wall and then put my sponge next to that, and then another leveling tab, and then sponge, and so on until you do the entire wall. If you don't have a measuring tape, don't worry about it. You're gonna be tempted to not use the measuring tape and or the leveling tabs, period. But it is very important to do because once you get the paint on, it's kind of hard to restart. We do recommend starting at the top of the wall, and it's going to be about 1/2 inch from the top as well. On our wall here in the laundry room, we have the cabinets above, so I didn't really follow that rule. I just get as close as I can to the top cabinet. If you are starting at the ceiling, then 1/2 inch from the top where the ceiling is, and then start your line, and the next line there's going to be 1/2 inch in between there. So each tab you put in between that line, like right here, you put a leveling tab, and then next one same thing, and then a leveling tab in between each stamp. Now it is time to paint. So obviously we want to mix our paint, so shake it, stir it, and then what you're gonna do is pour it into the provided plastic plate. And as you are dipping your sponge, you can scrape off any excess on the rim of the plate. And you don't want the paint on the sponge to be too thick or too thin. You will start getting the rhythm, your technique after the first few, so do not get overwhelmed if the first few do not turn out the way you think it should. The imperfections of each stamp is actually what gives this a artistic feel. So if it's not turning out exactly the way you want it to, just wait until you are completely done, because you don't want to judge it in the process. When you get done, if there's any imperfections, if one stamp is not, enough paint, then just go back over it. Do not get overwhelmed. Finish it and then take a step back and look at it. So remember, you're gonna start from left to right, work your way horizontally, and then go on to the next row. You don't want to do, up and down 1, 2, 3, and then your lines in the middle be kind of crazy. You judge your bottom your second row from your top row, your third row from your second row. So start from left to right and then top to bottom. All right, we're gonna pop the illustration up for the last time, and you can pause it here as you are walking through your video. If you have any questions, send us a message on the website. And be sure to follow us on social media as well as subscribe to us on the website. We are launching new DIY kits often, so make sure that you stay in the know. If you like this kit, be sure to leave a review. Reviews are the biggest thing to small companies.